Yes, welcome everyone here to the Smash Evening Show right here on Smash FM here on a Wednesday here in Melbourne. Of course, let's go up to the other side of the world, and we're going to Europe in particular. Of course, we're going to the Netherlands, and of course, the capital of the Netherlands is Amsterdam. And of course, we've got a very special guest on the show. Of course, we had her on the show about midway through this year during the pandemic, and of course, it is great to have her back on the show, because her name's Anne King. She joins us right now. Thanks, Anne, for joining us.
You're welcome.
Since we last had you on the show, which was about mid-May, which was 7 months ago, tell us, how has it been like for you on the music side of things, firstly?
On the music side of things, I just released another song. So I released a new single about a week and a half ago. So that's quite cool. But on the other hand, there aren't any shows to play because we're in another lockdown. So
let's talk a bit about your new single firstly, that you released about a week and a bit ago. Tell us a bit about that.
So I released a new single called Primrose Hill, which it's kind of like a ballad, and it has a lot of James Bond vibes. It's very mysterious, and it's set at Primrose Hill, and it talks about reflecting back on a relationship that you're glad is over, but you kind of miss the feeling sometimes. So it takes you through the memories.
When you came up with the song name in particular, where did that sort of originate?
Well, a few years ago when I played some shows in London, me and my bandmates would always go to Primrose Hill because it's a park in London, and we'd sit there and play guitar and watch the sunset and have some drinks. And I just remember sitting there and saying to my bass player, like, this is a great song name. Like, I'd love to write a song called Primrose Hill one day. And I actually wrote it kind of looking back on where I was at that moment in a relationship. And it was just a song I felt I needed to write.
Since it's been released about a week and a half ago now, or almost about that much time, I guess, how has the reaction been from your fans about it?
It's been really good. I was quite surprised actually, because it's a bit heavier than my normal songs. But the response was quite overwhelming. So I got a lot of messages telling me that they really enjoyed it and that they felt really happy that I was still releasing music during a pandemic, which I plan on doing for a long time. So yeah, it was really cool.
I guess following on from that, I guess, have you written any other music that might be coming out in the new year?
I'm currently working on some new songs, but I'm kind of hesitant, I guess, because we're not really sure how long we're gonna stay in lockdown. So it's kind of hard to record because I'd really like to be in the studio to record it. And Primrose Hill was almost done already, so it was quite easy to finish. And we're just looking into how we're gonna schedule recording the other songs.
You mentioned about Primrose Hill, which is your new single. I guess, did you get a chance to do a music video at all, or because of what's been happening so far this year over there in Europe, that you haven't had a chance to do a music video for it?
So we were planning on going to Primrose Hill, but this summer England was actually colored orange, which meant that we were not allowed to fly over to England because they found a new mutation of the coronavirus. So we weren't actually really allowed to record a music video there. So we went to a park that I used to go to with my grandparents, which is really close to my house, and we recorded it there because it's an English park, so it looks kind of the same. So he kind of faked it, but it was just me and a friend because you were not allowed to be with more people than that, and it had to be socially distanced. So behind the scenes we were wearing masks and we had the distance between us, but it turned out really great, so I was quite happy with that. But it would have been cooler to do it in London at Primrose Hill, but that wasn't possible.
mentioned about that you would love to go back to that same park to actually do it. Is that
Yeah.
something you want to do eventually once the pandemic is over and you'll be able to fly back to London to re-record the music video at the actual sites?
I'm not sure that I would actually re-record it. I would love to go back to London and play some shows there because most of the fans that are listening to the songs are actually from London, the United States, and Australia at this moment. So I would love to go back and play some new shows in London because that's the reason we were there the last time. Um, I'm just not sure when that's gonna happen because all the borders are closed now. So we will see. I really love England, but I'm not sure when we'll be able to go back.
Let's talk a bit about the music video itself. You mentioned that obviously you didn't have, I guess, as many people, I'm assuming, that you would liked in that music video. You might as well give, I guess, the people that were involved in it a bit of a shout out.
So the guy that I recorded it with is one of my best friends, and his name is Marcel Overway, and he's really cool. He's on Instagram, you can look him up, and he has these really amazing camera lenses that he built himself. So that's really cool, and that's why I keep working with him. I actually recorded pretty much all of my music videos with him.
Now, at the moment, of course, as you mentioned quite a few times, that you're not able to do any live performances at all like in person because of the lockdown there in Europe. Mm-hmm. How difficult has that been in the last couple of months?
Well, in the Netherlands, it's a lockdown light, so we're still allowed to go out. And I'm actually at my parents' house now in my old bedroom for Christmas. So I'm visiting them. But it's quite harsh to not be able to see the people you love. So for example, my twin brother is actually studying in Switzerland. So we're just not going to be able to see him this year. And before that, he was studying in Boston. So we've spent a lot of time apart this year, which is quite hard. But then again, I'm assuming this will all blow over at some point. So yeah, I'm just taking it one day at a time, and I'm trying to make as much music as I can. And I'm really grateful that everyone in my surroundings is still healthy and happy. So yeah.
I know I asked this question when I had you on the show back in May, and I'm going to ask a similar question for this one as well, which is, have you done any live stream performances at all?
At this moment, I have not. And the most accurate reason for that is because my bandmates are in Tilburg, which is the south of Holland. And we're really not supposed to travel far without like a very definite reason. So we've decided that it would be safer not to do it. And then one of my bandmates actually contracted the coronavirus, which meant that he was in quarantine for about a month and a half. So we just decided, okay, you know, it's not going to go away quite soon. But we're keeping the faith that at one point we will be able to do a live stream, but I haven't seen my bandmates in the last couple of months at all because we're just not really supposed to travel.
I guess the next question I'm going to ask then is, when do you believe that you're going to hopefully get a chance to either, you know, catch up with the band and do some performances, or even hopefully maybe do the next like actual performance? When do you think that's going to happen in your, like, do you have like a plan for next year?
Yeah, I think it's probably gonna happen somewhere around the spring or the summer, but I'm not sure because there's no performances are allowed at this point. So it's just really hard to see, well, to see which timeline it's gonna be in. Because I'm hoping it would be somewhere around April, but looking at the corona cases in the Netherlands at this point, I don't think that's very realistic. But I'm still hoping for it because it's been about a year since we performed, and that's a long time to go without performing. So yeah, we will see.
Now, what sort of messages have you had from your fans in the support for you during this really tough times?
I got a lot of messages saying that my music was really calming them down. So that's really cute. And I got a lot of messages asking for their favorite song to cover, because I started covering songs during the pandemic just to get more music out there, because we're not really performing live anymore. So I just wanted to give them something extra. So I'm recording one cover a week. At this moment, I didn't release a cover because it's Christmas. But yeah, so I got a lot of messages asking just for new music in general. And that's why I released Primrose Hill, just as a little bit to give back to them.
Now, is there any plans to hopefully come down to Australia in 2021 or even 2022?
Well, 2022 would be a lot more realistic, because I would love to go to Australia. I've never been. I do have family in Australia, however, they're in Perth. And yeah, it seems like a really cool country and a lot of cool music. So yeah, I'd love to come. But I'm not sure we're allowed to travel in 2021. I don't know where the pandemic is gonna go. I'm hoping the vaccine is gonna work, because they're starting next month, I think,
Right.
for all the healthcare workers and the politicians, and then the older people are getting vaccinated. And I think in 2022 we're probably gonna get vaccinated as well. I think it's gonna take about a year.
I guess reflecting on the pretty tough year in music for everyone, I guess what sort of things have you missed that you would have done in a normal year this year?
I would have played a festival season, so I would have been able to play the music I've released live, because I haven't played any of the music I released in the past year live, because there just wasn't any opportunity to do that. And I probably would have traveled a lot this summer, because I was planning on playing some shows in England and in Scotland, but that just wasn't meant to happen. So yeah, I'm hoping next summer maybe we're able to do it, but I just don't know.
And I guess following on from that, you mentioned about your new releases in 2020 that you didn't get a chance to play live. For everyone out there who missed our last interview that we did back in May, you might as well tell us, not including the one that you just released this week, but
Yeah.
I guess all the other ones, just for everyone here in Australia that should listen to your music that you released in 2020.
So I released an EP called Fake Flowers in 2020, which included 7 songs in total. And it was a lot of upbeat songs, but also some songs about heartbreak. And I really enjoyed making the EP, which was really cool, because we made it in 2019, the end of 2019, I think, and the beginning of 2020. So before the pandemic started. So yeah, it was really cool.
Now, what are you looking forward to in 2021?
I'm looking forward actually to spend more time with my friends and family, because we're just really trying to stay socially distant. So I haven't seen a lot of them in a really long time. So I'm actually really looking forward to seeing my friends and family again. And I'm looking forward to possibly playing some music live again. I'm actually looking into busking on the streets when it's allowed again, just because we're not allowed to play venues, but busking is still allowed if people just don't stand. So we're actually looking into that, and in a way of doing that in a good socially distanced way. And I think we're probably gonna do that somewhere in the spring, just so, I don't know, it's performing is so satisfactory in a way that I just really like to share my music with people. I don't really need to get paid for it that much, especially now. I just really miss singing for other people.
We'll finish off with these last 3 questions, which is, what does music mean to you now?
Pretty much everything. It's what I do every single day. And I don't think I would be the same person without it. It gets me through a lot of stuff because I get to write about everything I feel in a way that isn't very confrontational. So people will not judge me for writing harsh songs about them because they do not know I'm writing them about them. And it's just very therapeutic. It gets me through a lot of stuff. And I have a lot of songs that I just don't release because I don't really see the need. And I'm currently also writing with a lot of people. So it actually brings me a lot of friendships, which is really cool. So it's just pretty much what I do every single day.
And we'll finish off with the last two as well, which is for everyone that should think about writing music, especially what's been happening around the world, especially here in Australia as well. What would be your advice to them to maybe, sit down and maybe write some music?
Keep it close to yourself. Don't think, I'm going to write a song that Keith Urban would write, or I'm going to write a song that Carrie Underwood would write. Just think about what it is that you are feeling and what you want to say, because that's what's going to make you authentic and not the next Keith Urban or Carrie Underwood.
Now, by the sounds of it, I'm assuming that Keith Urban and Carrie Underwood is one of your favorite artists.
Yeah, definitely.
Of course, Keith Urban's an Australian, of course.
Yeah.
I guess, what would it be like if you ever met any of them?
If I ever met either of them, I'd probably just be really amazed. I really like the way Keith Urban writes and his guitar playing. I really enjoy that. And Carrie Underwood is just one of the best singers I've ever heard. So I would just be pretty much amazed, and I wouldn't really know what to ask him. And on the other side, like Adele is also one of my all-time favorites. And I think if I ever met her, I would just stand there and not say a thing.
And of course, I have to finish off with this one last one. For anyone that should follow your music, if they haven't done so already, on the socials, on the website, or through the music channels, how can they go about it?
You can find me on every music platform as nking, and on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook as nKingOfficial.
Well, and thank you so much for getting up your time to join us. It's awesome having you on the show, especially a couple of days before Christmas. And obviously, unfortunately, your country's currently locked out at the moment, but hopefully everything will be okay over there. We'll definitely be thinking about you from over here in Australia, and hopefully you can get our lockdown very soon. Hopefully get on to the performing scene in 2021.
Yes, thank you very much.
No worries. And that's Ian King joins there, because our favourite European music artist, because hopefully we'll get to see her down here in the land down under here in Australia very, very soon. Once everything opens up again, of course, you can see her perform down here, especially in Melbourne. There's more on the Smash Evening Show right after this. Don't go away here on the Wednesday edition.